Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Board of Commissions, Bowling Green, Kentucky, regular meeting, City Hall, June 21st, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. We're going to begin with the invocation and pledge allegiance and turn it over to Commissioner Melinda Hill.
Thank you. Tonight, I'm so honored to have with us tonight to give our invocation a former Big Red, an avid WKU sports fan, but I have to say he loves his family a lot more than Western sports. And I just found out he's been best friends with the mayor since 4th grade. So Greg, I beat him to it to have you here to give the invocation. But Greg is currently the pastor of senior adults and pastoral care at Eastwood Baptist Church. He has a true passion for baby boomers and senior adults growing their faith and serving the Lord. I've known Greg, I won't even say how many years, and he is truly in the position he needs to be in, ministering to this group of adults. He's a fine young man, and I'm honored to have him here. Greg?
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, City Commission. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we pause at the beginning of this meeting to seek your face. Lord, we recognize that you are sovereign God over all creation. You are ruler over all, and you have blessed us in this country and in this place we call home, city of Bowling Green, in such an amazing way. Lord, we thank you for these that serve our city. We pray for the city manager and the mayor, each city commissioner, for each employee and person that is part of our city government. Lord, we pray for our first responders and our law enforcement. We pray your protection over them and guidance in all that serve our city, that the decisions they make and the actions they take would always glorify and honor you and be according to your will. Bless them tonight in this meeting. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hey, Greg, just a second. This is Greg Swack, by the way. And this is a dream come true for me, because I want to take your photo.
Oh. Come up together. We're going to take a picture of the two of you together. Give me your phone.
And I have to tell you, I had no idea until right before this.
Didn't.
They were best friends.
Thanks, Greg. Come here. Thank you, Dana. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
All right, let's do a pledge.
All right.
Hey, stay here, stay here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Dana. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm sure there's some kids out there listening in 4th grade and saying, one day that's going to be us, and I hope it is for them. So it's an amazing city we have. All right, we're going to do roll call, please. Ashley?
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Perigin. Mayor Alcott.
Here. And tonight, we have as our city manager and our CFO, Mrs. Katie Schaller Ward, and she's sitting in for Mr. Jeff Meisel. And Mr. Meisel is at an event where he is the guest speaker, and we're very glad that he is accomplishing that because he's an amazing city manager. But Katie, do you have any agenda items or things you'd like to discuss before our meeting?
Well, I'd just like to say good evening. And we have a long agenda. I don't know if this is a record. I can't recall, but I don't think it's exactly, but it's up there. So I'm going to do my best to help move you all through that as efficiently as possible. But I also would like to remind our audience that anyone that is here who would like to make public comments at the end of the meeting will need to sign up before we get to that point on the agenda. And there's a clipboard there in the back corner of the room where you can sign up to do that.
Thank you, Katie. All right, our first is our approval of our minutes for regular meeting, June 7th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-116.
Municipal order approving the promotion of Michael Reynolds to the position of Crew Supervisor 2 in the Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mrs. Schaller, Ward.
This position became vacant with a recent resignation, and I would like Parks and Recreation Director Brent Belcher to please come up and present his recommendation for promotion.
Oh, Mr. Belcher?
Greetings. How is everybody today? Appreciate being number one, the batting lead off tonight. We'll start with the Parks and Rec promotion. This is Michael Reynolds. He's been with us since 2018, working at Crosswinds as the irrigation and spray tech. Michael has a graduate degree in turf management from Western Kentucky University, a local kid through Greenwood High School. He's here with his wife. We are lucky that Michael has been with us this time. We're lucky that we can turn to Michael and take over this role. This is an important role. We are excited about a lot of the things going on at Hobson Grove and Paul Walker, and a lot of the stuff as I continue my knowledge about baseball, being on deck for those golf courses, and Michael is going to be a great attribute to make those things happen for us. And he comes in this position right in the middle of the summer. That's okay. He's going to do a great job anyway. So congratulations, Michael, and we're looking forward to you doing a great job.
All right, thank you, Mr. Belcher. Discussion? None? Let's make this official. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations, Michael. Municipal order number 2022-117.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Madison Duncan to the position of Special Populations Instructor in the Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dana Beasley Brown, second by Carlos Bailey. Katie.
This position became vacant with the recent promotion of Cameron Levis, and so I would like to bring Brent Belcher back up to present the recommendation for appointment.
Not quite finished with me yet, see? So I'm back again. A position near and dear to my heart, special populations, the instructor position. They are located in Coomer Little Recreation Center. So Cameron is here. Cameron got promoted a month or so ago. So he's in his position. He's rocking and rolling. But of course, the instructor position was open after Cameron's promotion. And once again, similar to Michael, we were lucky that Madison Duncan's already with us. She's been with us since 2019. Madison has graduated from Western with a recreation administration degree. She's in her internship at Western and came back to us. She's been working with us for quite a while in Special Olympics and Adapted Leisure Services. Madison is here with her family. Madison, will you wave at everybody? There she is in the corner. Very excited. Madison's been with us a long time, so very little training from Madison, but once again, a lot of creativity coming to us and a lot of big things ahead for us with Madison. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, discussion? None. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations, Madison. Municipal order number 2022-118.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointments of Alana Claywell, Mackenzie Evans, Tammy Lyons, Amanda Poole, and Kimberly St. Hill to the position of Communications Dispatcher in the Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. Katie?
Communications dispatcher is probably one of the most important positions we have in public safety. And so I would like to ask Human Resources Manager Tiger Tooley to please come forward to make the recommendation of the 5 appointments.
Good evening.
Evening.
All right. So currently, the police department has 9 vacancies in the communications division. Like Katie said, it is a very, very important role to our community and our city's 911. So HR, along with the police department, began recruitment to fill these vacancies in February of this year. During the hiring process, we received 50 applications, which was great compared to previous cycles. 30 of those applicants presented for the law enforcement suitability inventory testing. 13 applicants received a background and polygraph, And then 8 applicants were interviewed, and we are recommending 5 applicants for appointment. The interview committee consisted of Chief Delaney, Deputy Chiefs Penny Bowles and Brian Harrell, Ashley Remington, which is the communications manager, Danielle Piper, communications supervisor, Lori Gray, and myself, as well as the detectives who performed the background investigations, which is Detective Hogue, Chamings, Wright, Creek, and Sergeant Maris. So we would like to recommend the probation appointment of 5 applicants to the position of communications dispatcher. Some of them are here with us tonight, so I ask if you would please stand as I call out your name. Alana Claywell. Alana attended Taylor County High School, where she played varsity basketball and softball. She is currently a personal shopper at Instacart. She has worked many years in the restaurant industry, and she has lived and worked in London, England. Mackenzie Evans could not be here, but Mackenzie has an interdisciplinary studies bachelor's degree from Western Kentucky University. She is currently a preschool and ESL teacher at Jennings Creek Elementary School. Tammy Lyons, I do not believe is available to attend here tonight too. She attended Warren East High School. She is currently a warehouse manager for 5 Star Food Service. She has been working as a shift manager. She has worked as a shift manager at Meyer and as an account manager for Van Meter Insurance. Amanda Poole is a graduate from Western Kentucky University with a bachelor's degree in criminology and computer science. While at Western, she was in the Big Red Marching Band and was a President's Scholar during all semesters. She has worked at the College of Health Human Services Dean's Office. And then Kimberly Saintil is a certified communications dispatcher in the states of Georgia and Tennessee. She has certifications from FEMA and NCIC. She has been a dispatcher for Vanderbilt Police Department and Macon-Bibb County in Georgia. Before dispatching, she worked as a juvenile correction officer at the Macon Regional Youth Detention Center. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Tiger, and thank you for your family members for being here today. So family members that are here, stand up with them. And the 3, Alana, Amanda, and Kimberly, stand up as well. All right. While you're standing up, any questions or comments? All right, let's make this official.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations. Hard work, but it's rewarding work. So thank you very much for working for our city and for our police force. Municipal Order Number 2022-119.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Jerry Skinner to the position of electrical inspector in the Neighborhood and Community Services Department.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Katie.
A retirement a few months ago prompted the need to fill an electrical inspector position, so I would like to ask Human Resources Director Aaron Halsey to please come forward and present that recommendation.
All right, good afternoon. It's a start of a lot of human resources, but all good stuff. So actually, this vacancy was created about 1.5 years ago with the retirement of Donnie Thompson. He was our plan and review, however you say that title. So had a lot of years with the city, retired, and I've had to learn this with my experience a little bit in the building division, is that to find someone who is qualified to be a plan reviewer takes a lot of years, a lot of education, a lot of training, taking tests and certifications, and so that's not really a job that you just kind of put out there and have a lot of people applying for. Despite that, we did try. And so we got close a couple of times, but decided to kind of switch our tactic, and we decided to look instead for an electrical inspector. An electrical inspector does need to be a master electrician. So they've kind of been an electrician for a while, and now they can start inspecting that work. Our hopes is that the people in this role will eventually learn and go through the training to also become building inspectors, and that is a dual role currently on our job classification schedule, to be both a building and an electrical inspector. And then what we really hope is that some of those individuals, we have a couple in the pipeline, continue that education and training and become plan reviewers. So we're hoping to grow our own plan reviewers from within. So we did keep this position open until filled throughout the time. We've done a couple of interviews, but we are now looking at Jerry Skinner to recommend him for appointment. He has been a master electrician. He has been an electrical inspector with the state, with Louisville Metro, with also with Louisville Independent Schools. And so we are lucky to find someone that has such great experience that wants to join our building division. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, we have a question.
No, it's just a comment I'd like to direct to Mr. Childers. I just want to say, last Friday, I had an event happen that just reinforced once again what great employees we have at the City of Bowling Green. Unfortunately, I was having to have a whole electrical box replaced in the house, which no one wants that to happen. Electrician Mr. Hunton was there. You all can remember how hot it was. He's wringing wet, and our electrical inspector comes there with 2 bottles of water, one for my electrician and one for himself. And just that small gesture. So thank you so much. That just meant the world to me. And yeah, no, I wasn't even there. So, but I was told that that was very, very nice. So thank you, and please thank him.
All right, thank you, Melinda. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, and congratulations to Jerry. So. Municipal Order Number 2022-120.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Austin Jones to the position of Operations Technician 1 in the Public Works Department.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. Mrs. Schaller Ward.
We have some openings in our Public Works Operations Division, and I would like to once again ask Aaron Halsey to please come forward and present the recommendation for appointment.
All right, so we do have 2 vacancies for Operations Maintenance Technician 1. We went out to recruit as we normally do. We received 13 applications and we interviewed 7 individuals. Throughout that process, we decided to only make an offer to 1 individual, and that is Austin Jones. What I failed to mention in the memo here that I think is really important is that Austin already works for us. He works as a landscape, in our landscape division with our arborist, who cannot say enough great things about him and is sad to lose Austin. He's a Bowling Green High School graduate, current student at WKU, and I think that the operations division is getting a great employee with Austin. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Halsey. Questions? None? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations. All right. Municipal Order Number 2022-121.
Municipal order approving the reappointments of Mike Hughes and Leon Volkert and appointment of Byron Palmeter to the Bowling Green Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. This is agenda item that I'll discuss. The 2 members, Mike Hughes and Leon Volkert, are both reappointees, and they have both willing to continue to serve. A new member is Byron Palmeter. This is a joint appointment between Judge Buchanan and myself and our board and our magistrates. And they have already appointed Byron, but Byron is going to be the new general manager for Embassy Suites out at the Hub, and he is currently general manager for True Hilton Garden Inn, and he's a member of the Lodging Association. And that is a little bit about Byron's education. He's a manager. He has a lot of experience in the hospitality, and we're looking forward to the hub as well, him being part of this committee. So any questions at the time? Okay. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. All right. Next item, and I'm sorry, I shuffled my paperwork. Here we are. Municipal Order Number 2022-122.
Municipal order approving the appointment of Robert Shadowan to the Bowling Green Municipal Utilities Board.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Robert Shadowan is a new appointee, and he is replacing Sarah Grice on the Bowling Green Municipal Utilities Board. And he is a partner in law. He's a partner and practices law at Harlan and Parker Law Firm. And he's been doing that since 1992. And he is a graduate from the University of Kentucky Law School and has his Juris Doctorate also from UK. And that is Robert Shadowan. I think he will be an excellent member for the Bowling Green Municipal Utilities Board. Okay, no questions, comments? All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. All right, Municipal Order Number 2022-123.
Municipal order approving the reappointment of Ryan Dearbone and appointment of Gene Harmon to the City of Bowling Green Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. This was very, Ryan Dearbone is willing to continue to serve on the Code Enforcement Nuisance Board. This is a very, very important board. And of course, we have some members here from our code enforcement, and I have promised them that I will go on a roll around with them this summer. So I'm committing to that publicly for you right now. But I am very excited to announce that we have a previous member. You may know the name Gene Harmon.
We check his credentials, Mayor.
Well, he was our city attorney, so Hillary Hightower replaced him, but he wants to continue to serve our city, and we're happy that he's willing to do that for the Code Enforcement Board. So any questions, comments? His resume is here. And he was also, he is a graduate of Louisville Law School and Western Kentucky University, and he worked for the Huddleston Brothers and the Natural Resources Environment Protection Cabinet, Health and Human Services Cabinet in Frankfurt. And that is a little bit about Gene. All right, no further comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2022-124.
Municipal order approving the reappointments of Mary Vitale and Dean Warren and appointment of Darmy Shaw to the City County Planning Commission of Warren County.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. This is also a reappointment and a new appointee. So Mary Vitale is going to continue to serve on our planning, our joint, our joint city and our county planning zoning commission board. And we have Darmy Shaw. Darmy Shaw used to serve on the, she was on the Convention and Visitors Bureau. She served on that committee for 6 years. She has a very impressive resume, including an MBA. And Darmy is the general manager and at the Super 8 Hotel out on, actually that is the Super South by Wyndham Hotel here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. She also has a CPA and tax professional and worked for H&R Block, and she's worked in multiple businesses here in Bowling Green. And I'm very excited to appoint and nominate Darmy Shaw to this board. All right. No further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. All right. Municipal Order Number 2022-125.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2022-52 for Clear Lane Enhanced De-icer from Cargill Inc. of North Olmsted, Ohio, in the amount of $139.52 per ton.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mrs. Schaller Ward.
The Public Works Operations Division tries to maintain approximately 2,000 tons of de-icer on hand. So when we get into the winter months, we have plenty of stock available in case we need it. This particular bid helps us lock in the price per ton. So if we do need to use any of our de-icer during the year, we can immediately replenish the stock, and we've locked in that price.
All right, any questions, comments? It's always good to have forward thinking. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-126.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2022-59 for upfitting equipment for police vehicles from Dana Safety Supply, Inc. of Nashville, Tennessee, in an amount not to exceed $73,560.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, and second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. I think I do need that water. Here, say, Katie.
We have finally received our 2021 Dodge Chargers that we ordered a couple years ago. Yay. Police Department's very happy about that. But we now need to outfit those vehicles. And so Dana Safety Supply submitted the lowest bid, and they'll provide the required equipment for these vehicles to be outfitted for patrol. So we do recommend this bid award.
So do we know how long it'll take to get fully outfitted and out on the streets?
Fleet Manager Denise Gillen, you're here? Can you respond to that? Stand up to the podium, yeah.
I anticipate that it would take about 6 months for all 12 vehicles to be upfitted. We currently plan to send 6 to upfitters, and we plan to do 6 in-house.
That was my question. And so we're still going to continue to do the in-house, but it's just we have so much that we have to outsource.
Our outfitter that we had for many, many years has went part-time, so it'll be a slower pace. That's why we're going to send some out and do some in-house as well. Plus, I have new technicians that need to learn about the upfitting, how the cars are put together and repaired. So it's a good plan.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-127.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2022-42 for in-car video, body cameras, and interview room system for the police department from Axon Enterprise, Inc. of Scottsdale, Arizona, in an amount not to exceed $2,069,912.32 over a 5-year period.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Bailey. Katie.
This is a pretty expensive replacement project. It is included in our FY23 budget as a capital project. Approximately 106 in-car cameras and 100 body-worn cameras for the police department would be replaced, as well as a capital project under our information technology department, which would upgrade the interview room there at the police headquarters. So this is all one product. Police and IT wanted to have one system where all products could integrate together so that the actual equipment and the software are all one. The 2 bids were received. Axon Enterprise provided the best evaluated proposal. The nearly $2.1 million price tag will be spread, as mentioned, over a 5-year period. The first year's amount is approximately $518,000. We do have underspending we had budgeted replacement of in-car cameras this year in FY22. We're going to carry that money forward, utilize it toward this project, and we have money in the FY23 budget for this. The out years, the next 4 years, would be approximately $388,000 each of those years. But again, we're trying to spread this cost out over a 5-year period. The bid is being recommended for award prior to June 30th in order for us to receive some additional discounts. And Chief Delaney is here to answer any questions, and I believe also Belden Perry is here. Is that correct? Yes.
Chief, did these get any lighter over time and attrition? Yes or no? Because I know you're wearing them and it's a lot of carry. Are these are they the same or in weight about the same? Better clarity, better. Does it give audio as well as video? Chief?
And the reason we chose Axon over Motorola, the performance, it was an evaluated bid. We did a test and evaluation process on both products, let officers wear them on the street. The clarity, the video quality, the ease, the performance of uploading, and it's got some built-in features that allow us to do some spot checks on our own, and the system will actually tell us if the officers or the sergeants haven't been doing those spot checks to make sure that we're complying with all policies and procedures. So the total package of everything, Axon provided a better product for us.
Chief, what do we do with the older cameras, the ones that we're using today?
Coban, they will be surplused out, but all the information, we still own all of that, the data, but they just got to be unreliable.
I was just thinking some of the smaller departments that are around other counties might.
Was the reason for the testing and evaluation process, because we're starting to have a lot of issues, and technology changes, the equipment got older, and we needed something more reliable.
Chief, if I understand these, our car audios were able to download once they came back, but our body cams weren't, and this will take us over that, so they'll download when we come back to the station?
We were able to do that before. We're just having issues with uploading issues once they get back to the station. But all this is integrated into the cloud, and all the systems will talk to one another. So the body camera, in-car camera, and also the CID, the Criminal Investigations Division, the recording room there. So you could tie all of those systems in together from the beginning of the case to the end, from the traffic stop to the interview in the CID room.
This is non-related. Chief Delaney was a tuba baritone with Greg Swack and I as trumpets out in the marching field in Ward Central.
That's true. And if you will let,
Now you're going to have to march step back to your seat now that you've told us that.
one last thing, I'd like to thank Major Hanson, Captain Bill Perry, Michael Kiefer, and Stephen Epley. They were the T&E product, and Mark Kaiser, who couldn't come tonight. They did all the legwork, and they did a great job testing and evaluating those products and putting together a proposal for you tonight. So thank them.
Thank you all. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, no further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-128.
Municipal order approving and authorizing the Emergency Rental Assistance 2 grant agreement with the Kentucky Housing Corporation through the Emergency Rental Assistance Program of the American Rescue Plan Act, funding in the amount of $695,250.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Katie.
We're fortunate to be able to receive this funding, and I'm going to ask Neighborhood and Community Services Director Brent Childers to please come forward and explain how this money will be utilized.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, and Commissioners. So we got word about this potential funding several months ago. I'd been kind of waiting for everything to come through. And what it is Kentucky Housing Corporation, which is the statewide housing organization, received somewhere in the neighborhood of $290 million of funding, and that they dedicated to this emergency rental assistance, and then are doing sub-grants to local housing agencies. So our voucher program in NCS is a public housing agency running a voucher program. And what these funds are used for, and what they will be used for, is to assist in new voucher holders accessing rental units. And so some of the barriers that people run into is utility debts, rental debts, deposits, these cost burdens where we've given them a voucher, but they've got these other barriers where they can't use that voucher and that assistance. And so these funds will be used to remove those barriers, so then they can use our voucher, and then we can be providing that level of assistance to those families. And so that's really the goal of this. So they're pushing these sub-grants out across the state. This was ours here in Bowling Green, so it is just for our voucher holders. We've got staff going to training this week to really learn how the ins and outs of this program are going to work. But one of the things that we see and have seen for the last several years is the housing market has continued to pick up pace, and demand has continued, and vacancies have decreased, is many of our vouchers do expire. They have a time frame on them. So we issue a voucher to somebody, we've auto-renewed, they're for 60 days, we've auto-renewed those for 120 days, and people still can't find a unit based on location or barriers or any combination of things. Somebody's not willing to accept the voucher that we have. There's a whole host of what those complications could be. So what we're trying to do is utilize this money to reduce as many of those barriers. So if we give somebody a voucher, they can use that voucher to provide safe and adequate housing for their family in this community. And that's what that's what we're here to serve. So with that, I'll entertain any questions from the mayor and commissioners.
Thank you, Brent.
You can do any, mini, money, mo if you want. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just so excited about the fact that you all continue to, remove these barriers that you have for your voucher recipients, and from the landlord incentive program that you all started to, help reduce that barrier of getting landlords to accept the vouchers, and then finding these funds to help them with the other barriers that are there. I'm just really grateful that you all are always seeking to find out how to push those barriers down and help families have housing. So just really grateful for your all's work. And is there chance for us to apply for additional funding? Because that's a lot of funds there with the Kentucky Housing Corporation.
It is a lot of funds, but it's also for, I think, 5 years. So this is meant to be used over a period of time. And really, with this coming from the ARPA program, it could or could not. Depends on, we thought we were done with CARES about a year ago, and you'll see tonight we're not done with CARES funding, so sometimes things come back around. So I'm not going to say no that there won't be a future opportunity, but at this time we don't know of one. I also want to give, you all hear from me all the time, but Ms. Elvira Ramick, our housing division manager, is the one who does all the work and puts all this into play, and so she's here tonight as well.
And I want to echo everything that Commissioner Beasley Brown said. I know that there are a lot of people that are hurting. This is a time like since 2020, this is a thing, and those barriers being taken out of the place is going to help a lot of families out. We do know that some of the things is that when you're helping the families out, you're not just helping the individual out. You're helping the families out overall. You're helping out a kid that has a place to stay, that doesn't have to worry about where they're going to stay the next day and when they're going to school. So hats off basically having these things. And I was going to ask the same thing, and I think you already answered it, about additional funding, because it would be great to have additional funding, especially for our city.
We're always looking at opportunities to expand. In the last 5 or 6 years, we've grown the program by about 18%, and we had sat pretty idle for about 5 or 6 years before that. So we're always looking for ways to grow and expand. We understand housing is a growing need in this community, and I appreciate Elvira's work to continue pushing forward. Anything else? You'll hear from me some more tonight, so.
Thank you, Brent. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Thank you, Elvira. It's good to see you tonight. Municipal Order Number 2022-129.
Municipal order authorizing the submission of a grant application for the 2022 Emergency and Transitional Pet Shelter and Housing Assistance Grant Program from the U.S. Department of Justice in an amount up to $400,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Katie.
We saw an opportunity and we want to apply for a grant. This grant would be a partnership with the Barren River Area Safe Space, and if we were to receive the funding, it would be used for short-term shelter and housing assistance for domestic violence victims with companion animals, so that their animals can come with them. That's important. So Grants Manager Nick Cook is here if you have any questions, but again, this is just another opportunity. We don't know if we'll receive the funding or not. This is the first step in the process.
Nice.
I'd like to say that what a great opportunity. This would be a great addition to Brass if this comes through. So my finger's going to be crossed for you, Tori.
And I would love to maybe, Tori, if you could come up and just talk about how having those companion animals is sometimes a barrier for domestic violence survivors to being able to get the assistance they need.
I rarely have to walk up to a podium that I have to bring the microphone down. Yeah, so actually in partnership with Nick working on this grant application, what I learned earlier today is that 1 out of every 5 crisis calls that we receive for the last 6 months have indicated that animal abuse is a part of the domestic violence history. And so having 20% of the population that are trying to enter emergency shelter be able to provide access to companion pets, we're legally required to accept both ADA service animals and emotional support animals in shelter, but there are no protections to companion pets right now. And very few people are going to be willing to leave their dog or cat behind, knowing that the likelihood is that animal would die at the hand of their abuser. Abuse to animals is actually one of the future indicators of homicide for human victims of abuse. And I just can't get over the fact that 20%, 1 out of every 5 crisis calls indicates animal abuse. It's one of the 13 questions that we ask in our risk and lethality on the crisis line of what types of abuse a person has endured. And so this would be allowing us to partnership with a kennel so that the companion pet would have a safe place to go, get updated on their vaccinations, be able to make sure that they are healthy and safe, and then reunite that pet and the victim after they get out of shelter. We do not have the capacity to keep companion pets on shelter, but being able to navigate this process where they have a safe place to go as well is exactly what we need. Fingers crossed.
I'm really grateful again for these partnerships that we have, making sure we're breaking down these barriers. As part of my work on a daily basis, I work with these women and children before they get to the domestic violence shelter, and I can't tell you how often that love of their pets is a big part of that decision about if they can leave and go to safety. So I'm just really grateful that this opportunity is here and because of that strong partnership. So thank you both for being willing to pursue this.
Corey, hats off to, kind of piggybacking on like what Commissioner Beasley Brown has said. I deal with these things as well because I deal with it on dependency, neglect, and abuse cases. And sometimes I'm serving as the guardian ad litem. Sometimes I'm serving as for the parent. Sometimes I'm serving for the parent that actually may have been abused. So I've had people that had to go over there to Brass, and I know what it's like to have an animal that's actually a family member and stuff. So it's hats off just having this there where these family members can bring another family member with them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. All right, no further questions, comments. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-130.
Municipal order authorizing the acceptance of an award for the Kentucky Community Development Block Grant Coronavirus Community Project Fund from the Kentucky Department for Local Government in an amount of $1 million.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Katie.
The city is receiving $1 million, and it's going to be used to go toward the construction costs of a new fire station number 8 to be located at the Kentucky Trans Park. We have an estimated cost of over $3.2 million for construction of this fire station, so the city's match basically would be the difference, about $2.3 million, to match up with the $1 million. We do have our architects, Branstetter Carroll, are currently working on those construction documents as we speak, so we hope to be able to bid this project out later this fall.
Thank you, Katie. Other questions? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-131.
Municipal order authorizing the submission of a grant application and acceptance of grant funds with the Federal Transit Administration for federal fiscal year 2021 transportation assistance under the American Rescue Plan Act.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Katie.
Since we're a direct recipient of the Federal Transportation Administration Program 5307 formula grants, we have this opportunity through the ARPA program to receive an additional $411,820. And that money would be used toward our transit operations. Grants Manager Nick Cook and Transit Manager Robert Gill are both here if you have any questions.
Thank you, Katie. Questions? All right. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Good to see you, Robert. All right. Municipal Order Number 2022-132.
Municipal order authorizing the acceptance of an award for Land and Water Conservation Fund Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program grant funds through the National Park Service from the Kentucky Department for Local Government for riverfront area improvements in the amount of $750,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
That was Carlos Bailey and Dana Beasley Brown. Katie.
We have been waiting several months to years to receive this grant document, the grant agreement. So I'm pleased to say we have finally got it in our hands, I think. We applied for $750,000, and this was through the Kentucky Department for Local Government, which then was through the National Parks the National Park Service Land and Water Conservation Fund, State and Local Assistance Program. We said that we would match this $750,000 with $1.5 million, and we set that money aside in the FY21 grant budget. The FY21 budget. So we do have that money set aside, and I would like to ask Brent Childers to please come forward and tell you where we are with this riverfront development project.
Good to see you again, Brent.
Yeah, good to see everybody. I think I got one more trip up here in a few minutes. 28 months. That's how long. 28 months. We got preliminary approval before the pandemic started, because after the shutdown, I started working on the initial submission of evidentiary materials to get this program awarded, this grant awarded, and we kept thinking a few months. 28 months later, we finally bring to you a formal award. We have an agreement. It is official. We're good. For this $750,000 grant. And I know that there's been a lot of anticipation. I've talked about this project for all 28 of those months in different capacities. But let's talk about what this really means. What this really means is taking 70 acres of our riverfront parkland and turning it into an outdoor adventure park. This is about really transforming a project that we've been talking about as a community for years and years. And so far, we have a walking trail, we have a mountain bike trail, and now recently we have connected the two pieces of property under River Street. So special thanks to Greg Meredith for spearheading that project. To tell you how long we've been working on this, Greg was at the state and we approached him with that project years ago, and now he's with us finishing the project. So it has taken us much longer than we anticipated, but now that we're here, we're going to start moving forward. So next steps really are, once we get this part complete, is moving into hiring a design firm to handle the real visioning session of what this looks like, engaging with the public on some of these amenities. We are bound by the grant to do some projects, some specific pieces to the project that have to be done, but really this grant starts phase 1. And that's the real important part, because we can't get to phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 without getting phase 1 done. And this grant is the gateway to getting phase 1 done. So next steps really are the hiring of the design consultant, public engagement, conceptual design, final design, bid, and get the federal part of this closed out so we can move into phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and really see the vision for what 70 acres along our riverfront just outside of downtown Bowling Green can turn into and be a catalyst of change along the River Street corridor in our lower downtown area. So we're very excited about this. We've been working very hard on this for a number of years to get to this point. So I am happy to entertain any questions or things that you might have this evening.
I'll just say congratulations, Brent. I've been in my 8th year up here, and we've been talking riverfront development that entire time, and I'm sure a long time before that.
That's right.
But congratulations, and thanks for your tenacity and your stick-to-itiveness to see this all the way through. We're going to have a fantastic park down there.
That's right. That's right.
Brent, just for the untapped space, I'm born and raised here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and every time when I go to Owensboro, I go up here in northern Kentucky, you will see like there was space that could be used just to have like where it's going to be, I guess, fishing, bike racks, benches, and along accompany the EDC. We know that this is going to drive commerce for the next couple of years to come. And so hats off, because this is going to be something that Bowling Green is going to have to look forward towards long after this city commission is going to even be here.
Sure.
Yes, and I'm just so grateful that this day's finally here. And I know that, the work that you all have done, even to just track down this last piece that you all, finding out where exactly is this piece of paper, we want to know right now your persistence in making sure we got this project awarded. And I'm so excited for our community as we continue to grow and get bigger. It's so important for us to have these spaces that we can connect to nature. We know it's really healthy for kids and their development to be able to get out and play, and just excited about the visioning sessions that our community can get involved in. So I just want to make sure, where can we let folks know to be able to get involved? Where will we advertise those so they, if they're interested, it can be a part of those visioning sessions?
We've had some people that have already reached out to us over the time that have already been engaged in the riverfront development years and years ago, right? And so, those we're already aware of. But those others that we don't know about yet, social media. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. That's our main conduit of information out to the public, especially whenever we're talking about such a communal project. This isn't just impacting us. This isn't a sidewalk where it's in this one neighborhood. This is a community-wide project. So social media would be the best way, but we're still a ways from that. We still got a lot of work to do to get there, but social media would be the best way to do that.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you all.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-133.
Municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, Inc. to lease Circus Square Park for concerts in the park.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Katie.
This is an annual agreement with DRA in order to support concerts in the park where they lease Circus Square Park. There is one change this year to the agreement, and it has to do with our Entertainment Destination Center, which will launch, I believe, July 15th. So what we have set up is ordinarily DRA was required to have a fenced area where people could actually utilize, or I think they called it a beer garden, something to that effect. They no longer have to have that fenced-in area. Because of the EDC, the public would have the opportunity to walk around the park and within the EDC with a glass, a cup of whatever they happen to have as a beverage. But it would have to be in our official EDC cups. And so that is the only real change to the agreement. Otherwise, it's basically the same as we've done year after year.
Are they selling those cups there or providing them, or how's that working?
Basically, anyone attending the concert in the park can go to any participating business and buy a drink in the cup and then come into the park. And then they can also request permission from Jeff as well as from the DRA to set up a mobile unit to sell as long as they have the supplemental license. So any business in the EDC or adjacent to can request permission and get that supplemental license. And then, of course, La Gala is right there. I think we have a sidewalk lease on with them next, and I think their intent is to set up a bar right there that will also be convenient. So I think it'll be convenient for people who choose to do that.
And the participating restaurants or beverage suppliers essentially are going to be getting their cups through Clark Beverage, is that correct?
Right, they'll get them through Clark, and that's why we have postponed the start date, just because the cup production has been difficult. But they are supposed to be here by July 15th, and so everyone will have their first delivery of cups. And so anybody within the EDC can sell, and they can walk to concert in the park.
Hillary, let me ask you this. Sometimes, if you ever been to Disney, they have chips in the cup. Do we know if some of these chips will be in these type of EDC cups?
Chips,
Sometimes they can tell, like if you ever go to Disney, they can tell how much you've drinking, and there's a cutoff at some point. I don't know if you ever purchased one of those cups.
oh, I don't, our cups are just, they're regular one-time use cups. So once you use your cup, you can't take your cup back to a vendor and have them refill it. You have to start with a new cup.
Got you. Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-134.
Municipal order approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with the Legala LLC related to the lease of a portion of city sidewalk at 601 State Street.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Dana Beasley Brown. Katie?
Hillary mentioned this already, but we do have sidewalk lease agreements with several establishments downtown. This is to promote outdoor dining experiences, but also to extend their ABC licensed premise area. And so a portion of the greenways and sidewalk there in Circus Square Park that's around the Legala building is being leased to them as part of this agreement.
Katie? Further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-135.
Municipal order approving appropriations for specified eligible agencies for fiscal year 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Bailey. Katie?
Included in the fiscal year 2023 annual operating budget, which will receive second reading this evening, we have recommended to provide a total of $1,115,960 to eligible agencies. These agencies perform public purpose activities on behalf of the city. And so this municipal order presents each of the specific agencies and the specific allocation that would be presented, and then authorizes the mayor to execute these appropriation agreements, and those agreements set out the terms basically for the use of that funding.
Okay, I see we have several agencies here. Melinda?
Mayor, I'll have to recuse myself from this vote since I work for one of the agencies.
I understand. You can stay in the room. That's fine.
Actually, no.
No.
Per the ordinance. Mm-hmm.
See, we have several of our agencies here, and we thank our agencies for doing things for the city that the city cannot do well for ourselves, and you do it better than we could ever possibly do it. So we would not be here as strong as we are without y'all. So thank y'all very, very, very much. Questions, comments?
Ditto.
Okay. Ditto.
And thanks for those that came tonight.
Right, and I'll just mention them. It's our Area Economic Development Authority, our Human Rights Commission, our Warren County Drug Task Force, our Warren County Humane Society, our Warren County Regional Airport, Warren County Welfare Center, our City Planning Commission, our Hobson House Commission, and our Warren County Pride, Inc., and our United Way of Southern Kentucky which is Miss Melinda Hill works for that agency, and that's why she stepped out. All right, no further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill, which is abstaining, and Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Okay, municipal order number 2022-136.
Municipal order authorizing the Housing Authority of Bowling Green to retain the city's portion of the payment in lieu of taxes for the 2021 tax year in a total amount of $26,349.90.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Katie.
This is an annual request from the Housing Authority in order to utilize the city's portion of their payment in lieu of taxes, which was established back in the 1960s, and the amount, $26,349.90. They utilize this funding to support their after-school programs, and again, we have traditionally done this. I can't tell you exactly how many years Abraham might be able to, but it has been ever since I've been with the city, we've been doing that, and that's over 25 years, so.
Thank you, Katie. Questions, comments?
Just a quick comment. Mr. Williams, just hats off, because one of those things, I come from that area. And I know, like, when I was a student at Parker Bennett, I know how it used to look over there, and I know how we didn't have programs in place. So having some of those after-school programs, there were some there. There was a center, which I wish we would do something about because it's still been there almost 50 years. But you have actually helped these kids out because it allows them to dream and go to another step, to know that education could be the route that they can move forward. So hats off for doing that, and I love everything that you guys are doing at the Housing Authority.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2022-137.
Municipal order authorizing and approving a disadvantaged small business incubator agreement by and among the City of Bowling Green, Houchins Industries, Inc., and Live the Dream Development, Inc.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Katie.
This is a great opportunity where we can partner with some of our local nonprofit, the Housing Authority, and then also Houchins Industries, to take a dilapidated building at the moment and repurpose it. So the building located at 348 College Street, which used to be called, I believe, the former Save-A-Lot, it's been sitting vacant for quite a while. This is going to give that building some new purpose. And the $1 million that the city is going to provide toward this project will help with the renovation of that building. And I would, again, ask Brent Childers to come forward to explain a little bit more about this partnership and project. And then also, Housing Authority Executive Director Abraham Williams is here and may want to also provide some additional information about the program.
Thank you, Ms. Shallow Ward. So oftentimes you hear about public-private partnerships, and this is a fine example of what that really looks like. This idea was brought to us probably at least a year ago, and we've been kind of working through the aspects of this, the concept of this idea. How would it work? How would it structure? How would it function? And now we're ready to bring it to you all tonight for a formal vote. And really what it comes down to is creating opportunities in our community. And several years ago, whenever we chose 1021 as our neighborhood of focus next, we were looking for what are ways and investments we could make to create opportunities. And then this dovetailed with that and some of the other things we talked about at the last meeting with the purchase of some additional property down there. And it's about creating economic opportunities for disadvantaged persons. So that could be minorities, that could be women, that could be low-income populations. And creating a commercial space, an incubator, where they could rent space to start up their business for 4 years. That's the maximum term. We had to set a term in there. So then they can move on to a new market rate facility somewhere else in our community, but that space continues to exist for the next business that can come in there and start up. And so the Save-A-Lot property there on College Street, I can remember whenever it was a Save-A-Lot and going into that store 30 years ago probably, but it's been sitting idle for a number of years, and I think the community has desired to see some activation of that property. A lot of people have worked on a variety of different projects to see an activation of that property, and it's really taken somebody with the vision of Mr. Williams to get that going. So I want to give him the credit for this project. And so what this will do is the City of Bowling Green will be contributing $1 million. Live the Dream through the Housing Authority will be contributing the first $600,000. Houchins Industries will be contributing the property and the additional $500,000 that we estimate to take this through. One of the other complications whenever we started talking about this a year ago is the cost in the budget has continued to increase over that time. We're gonna go as far as this is gonna take us, but what we're anticipating is 6 available business spaces as part of this. So the front would be stripped out with 6 different places, also office space for pop-up, which I'll let Abraham talk about, some conference rooms and some meeting space down there for small businesses. But really what it is it's an opportunity for an investment in the future for that small business to get started, to get a foothold, to get those first couple of years underneath their belt, to establish what is their market, how does their business work, what do they need to fine-tune, have consulting services thereby to help them as they grow, and then they can move on and flourish in other parts of the community. But the space is there for the next business to come in. So there will be a board that oversees this, where the city will appoint 2 representatives to that board. This has been through a lot of different iterations and looks at, but we think we're ready for it to bring it to you tonight. So before I turn it over to Mr. Williams, are there any questions of myself?
I'll tell you something, Brent. When I graduated Western Kentucky University in 1982, that was, I got married, my husband worked for Houchins, and that was my first job. I guess he thought I needed to work somewhere, so he gave me a job down at, they called it Farmers Market. Anybody remember the Farmers Market? And it wasn't a Houchins or a Save-A-Lot, but so revitalizing that building, that grocery store in that area of town, it was a full Houchins. I just called it by a different name. I worked in the deli and the meat department. That was just a critical piece to that community. And so I'm hoping someday we can get another grocery store downtown, but just bringing that building and that corner back to life, because that was the lifeblood. And I worked in the deli. They lined up to the front door all the way down an aisle to get lunch in that hot table. And it meant a lot to that part of the community. And then there was a barber college next door. May still be there, I don't know.
With its proximity to the medical center in Graves Gilbert, we feel like there's a lot of market dynamics that can make this successful.
Perfect. So thanks for leading the charge on that, and Abraham and your team.
And likewise, you know, I was baptized at State Street Baptist Church. So, and I was baptized in 1982. So back then, we used to go over there sometimes to grab something to eat because church can go long. Abraham can, he knows. Church can go long, especially back then when we had like Reverend, not Battle, but it was Reverend Baker back then. But one of the things like revitalizing that area with Houchins, with the Housing Authority, with you guys, we know it's very important. That's been an eyesore for many years. That's right there because it's going to bring more commerce and just to help out somebody that is low income to have a piece of the American dream. And this is not something where it's a handout. It's basically a hand up because we know the rate of the return on investment. And when we invest in our people, that rate of return is going to come back twofold. It's going to basically create new business owners here. It's going to be able to create new people that's going to be able to create jobs in the future. I feel like it's going to help out something that's going to help out downtown in Bowling Green. So just hats off again. It's something that I'm glad we're finally doing something. We don't have to always drive past it when we have church, and it's going to be something special for the community.
Do we have, I guess, a mock-up of what the building will look like? Is it just interior, or will the exterior also?
It is interior and exterior. That was one of the things that I was very wanted to be a part of. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. We're investing a lot of money in that neighborhood. Right across the street is our Coomer Little Recreation Facility. The city has made a substantial investment over years in our parks facilities and that part of it. So we wanted to do this right. We wanted this to be done the way that it should be done, that the community and the neighborhood would be proud of. So this will be a full exterior and interior renovation. As mock-ups, I don't know if Abraham brought any with them. They've still been going through some concept designs. But no, this would be a full look, completely different than what it looks like today.
I'm so excited. Again, this is one of these that we've been talking about for a really long time. And so I'm just really excited especially to hear from Mr. Williams about the specifics of the businesses and how this program, the type of small businesses that might be able to be a part of this incubator, and just again, so grateful for these partnerships and what it takes for all of us coming together at the table and figuring how to move our city forward. This is such a great example of that. So just thank you for all your hard work over this.
I want to make sure, if I understand, to make sure where credit's due, I know that Kentucky legislation gave us $1 million towards this. 600,000. And I want to recognize Senator Mike Wilson that's here, our Kentucky Senator for Warren County. So thank you, Senator Wilson, for your support, the 600,000 that you've brought from Kentucky legislation for this project as well. So thank you, Senator. Thank you. And,
Without, y'all are done with me, I hope, for the evening.
We're done with you.
I'm
Let's
turn
bring
it
up
over
Mr.
to
Williams,
Abraham,
Brent.
so good luck to you all if I turn it over to him.
Just remember, Abraham, we have not voted yet.
I'm so shy.
That's a hard time.
First, Mayor, Commissioner, thank you so much for making the dream come true. 2 years ago, Don Vitelli approached me about something to do in the low-income and minority communities. So we started a program called Pop-Up. And this was giving people of minority or either low income an opportunity. We didn't give them nothing, it's just opportunity and the tools. Well, most time if they try to start a small business, it's so hard to find reasonable rents. So we come up with that idea, but that's the good part, but the hard part was finding the building. So we found the building. The next hard part, trying to convince Houchins to let us have the building. So it took all the grace of God and a whole lot of other folks, but we finally got Houchins to agree to let us have the building. Not along with the building, but $500,000. Then we approached Brent and Nick. They are super guys. Regardless how bad he talk about me, he is super. We originally was $500,000. Then we got with the mayor and the city manager, and we got to $1 million. And at Martin Luther King, we were singing, "We Shall Overcome," and I told Mike, we need to overcome. And Mike Wilson agreed to give us, he said, "Abraham, I'll help you." And 3 weeks ago, he agreed to give us $600,000 from the state. It's come to the good of our community. We're not fighting each other. We're holding hands, and we're pulling each other up. Again, I'm so shy to be up here today, but I brought some of my help with me. I brought some of my board members, John Paul Blair, there's Lawrence White, and Harold Little. But if I just could have a minute to have Don Bolton and Brad Howard to come up and speak for you for a minute.
Thank you, Abraham.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brad Howard, and I'm the chair of the Live the Dream Development. July of 2003 is when this organization became real. And how that came about was really from the city. They approached Abraham and his board members and staff with an idea of taking dilapidated homes downtown. And we need someone to take them, refurbish them, renovate them, and hopefully be able to provide housing for low to moderate income families. With this in mind, we created Live the Dream. And Live the Dream says it all, as you can just within the title. We started out with a single house over off Church Street in the cul-de-sac there. And many of the board members at that time were in there ripping out walls, doing everything else at that time, believe it or not, with Abraham. So, but we went from that to, over the last 19 years, building over 140 homes in our community. And every one of those have, every one of those have gone to individuals that, as you said earlier, you know, they don't have to worry about whether there's a roof over their head anymore. From there, with the homes, we got into multifamily, we got into elderly housing. We've just done it all. And at this point, we got approached by, again, Mr. Vitale and Abraham to come up with an idea as to how we can make it even better. And that's going into the business. And from there, I'm going to allow Don Bolton to speak to that.
Good afternoon. So I'm Dawn Bolton. I'm the Small Business Development Consultant for Pop-Up. Pop-Up is the people's opportunity for underserved populations, and as was already mentioned, it was born out of Don Vitale's desire to do something after the death of George Floyd. Mr. Vitale, who is now the Pop-Up Board Chair, contacted Mr. Williams with an idea to help minority business people. Mr. Williams described to him a previous program which provided a small business consultant but no funds. Together, they secured funding from several local banks and community partners, formed the board, hired a small business consultant, and Pop-Up began August 2020. Pop-Up targets minorities, women, and low-income individuals for small business ownership or enhancement. The program offers small business development training, counseling, and mentoring to potential new and existing small business owners. These clients are coached to prepare them to request low-interest loans from the Pop-Up board. As a small business consultant hired, I spend my days meeting with clients, developing their financial statements, which then inform their written business plans. Finally, I coach the clients to present their story, what motivates them, and their business plan to the board to ask for a loan. As of this month, I have met with 96 minority, women, low-income clients representing 87 businesses who are in various stages of business development. Since its inception, Pop-Up has approved loans for 20 businesses totaling $172,000. Some of the funded businesses include late-night desserts, eco-friendly baby products, hair salons, gourmet cupcakes, catering, inflatables, and food trucks. There is one need not currently being met by the program: affordable rent locations for those starting their new or enhanced businesses. Even with the pop-up loans, success can depend on mentoring for the clients and on controlling monthly expenses, for which rent tends to be the highest expense. An added benefit of belonging to the program, in addition to being eligible for the loans, may be access to a business location that continues the support of the clients while lowering their monthly rent costs until they can succeed and move on. The property on College Street offers a unique opportunity for the community of Bowling Green to come together to create a center that is a win-win-win proposition. Once properly renovated, the building would provide an accelerator for pop-up vetted businesses. It could connect other entities, such as the City of Bowling Green, to the work of Pop-Up and Live the Dream, and it could give new life to Houchins Industry property located squarely in the Shake Rag District. I'm very pleased to be a part of Pop-Up. We're doing good things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Abraham. I just want to say this has been a long time in the making. We're very excited to announce this to our community. We want to specifically thank our Housing Authority, Small Business Association, Live the Dream, Housing Industries, really that had the vision and the goal to be able to turn this property over into something that they envisioned to see for our community, to begin the business that began them. And if you think about Houchins Industries, they're owned by the employees. And so this is creating the next generation of what Houchins Industry became. So very, very, very exciting for our city to see this collaboration.
And just one last thing, Don, there's businesses that for pop-up that are excelling. Chop by Tea is one of them, Late Night Treats that you mentioned, but I forget what Kira Boland's business is. Taste of Sunshine is excelling. So these businesses that the pop-up is creating are excelling and creating like new entrepreneurs in our community. So that's a great thing.
All right, let's make this official. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations on that. Okay, we are moving on to item 23, ordinance number BG 2022-25. Our first reading is non-binding.
Ordinance amending zoning ordinance. Ordinance amending Articles 2, 3, and 4, and Appendix A of the zoning ordinance for the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky, as recommended by the City County Planning Commission.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Katie?
I would actually like to invite our Planning Commission Director, Ben Peterson, to come forward. I believe he has some information he would like to present on this item and then also item 33
Yes, ma'am.
at the same time.
Welcome, Ben.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. First, I just want to say this is a great lesson in civics and a healthy city tonight. If you look at this agenda, you have everything on it. There's industrial, there's business creation, there's commercial, there's appointments to civic boards, there is employees to help the city run. It's very exciting to see. I don't know if maybe Mr. Meisel needs to leave more often. I'm not sure.
And zoning, Ben, we have zoning too.
Yeah, and then now we're going to talk about protecting existing neighborhood stock. So, when there's tragedy, of course, out of that comes opportunity. And so when the tornadoes happened on December 11th, after we were able to, let the shock wear off, we started looking at what can we do, how can we heal as fast as possible. And one of the things we noticed when we were talking with city staff, county staff, and our own staff was, hey, we've got these neighborhoods hanging out there that are zone multifamily, but they were single family in character. And due to the damage that the tornadoes cause,
the propensity for the characters of those neighborhoods to change would have been potentially a lot faster than normal times where you may just have a house here and there change over time. So, as you know, we started this process about 6 months ago, identifying this. We've had 5 or 6 or so neighborhood meetings with all the various neighborhoods. The first item, number 23, ordinance 25 here, deals with Nutwood Magnolia, what we call the Nutwood Magnolia area. And if you'll refer to the map in item 33, you'll see the outline of this area. So the properties we're speaking of are all the properties outlined in yellow. And I'll talk colors here just because it's easier in this case. So in this instance, there was 3 things we talked about. 2 have made it to tonight before you. One is to change the mixed zoning. Right now, it's a mixed zoning of RS1D and RM2. So the recommendation is to change all of that to a single-family zone, which is the RS1D. So if you look at that map, you see a mixture of kind of an army green and an orange. That will all be the army green color, which will be RS1D. So it will go from multifamily to single family. So that is the first part of item 33. The second part will be then to establish an overlay zone over this same area, all those properties highlighted in yellow. And what that would be is an architectural review zone to where any home that would be rebuilt in that area or a home that would be renovated in that area would have to adhere to some architectural standards that aren't as much as you would find in a historic district, but essentially the way I like to explain it is you stand on the street, you look at where the house was if it was a new house, you look to the left, you look to the right, you incorporate similar roof pitches, if they have front porches, add a front porch, those types of things. One thing that was important we wanted to do with this was to streamline that process. One thing we heard throughout the public hearing process was we don't want a long drawn-out process. We want to streamline it. We don't want to have to go to a board. We want to just be able to submit a building permit and expect to get approval within a much faster time. So we made all of those considerations basically a staff approval through our office. So item 23 is the text amendment that makes all of that happen. To establishes the text for the overlay, establishes the architectural overlay zone, and then put some detail in there. And then item 33 is changing the color of the map, changing the zone to single family. So it's those 2 items that you're looking at. Hard to explain, but I'm doing my best here. So that's generally what we're looking at. The process would be if a homeowner is coming and needing a permit, they would just simply submit their permit information like they always do to Neighborhood Community Services, and then we would review that. They may have to provide us a little more information like the roof pitch or building material, that type of thing, but it would just go with the building permit. We would still review it in that same amount of time and get approval. So for the sake of brevity, I'll stop there, see if there's any question. I can obviously go into a lot more detail, but that's kind of the first item. And then I apologize, I have sent these items out of sequence here, so the next 2 items don't have anything to do with the tornado. They are Planning Commission related. Then we'll pick back up with item 26. But
I do have something to add to that.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to give a shout out to a lady that we've gotten to know. Her name is Kathleen Koch, and she started a nonprofit called Leaders Link. And about a week after the disaster, the mayor and I were on a very important Zoom call with Kathleen. And the first thing with Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Tupelo, Mississippi, they're mayors that Kathleen lived through Katrina, led through Katrina, learned a lot. She started this nonprofit, Leaders Link. If anybody out there wants to look it up, it's amazing. I hope we're going to be very active with that moving forward. They basically chronicled what happened, and they've put things into place for people like us to learn from somebody else's disaster. And the first thing they said, recommended is, don't pick up your own debris. Hire somebody. Well, we'd already done that. So the second thing was check the zoning. Check the zoning in all of the affected neighborhoods. And so what we found was a blanket rezoning happened 20-something years ago that affected these neighborhoods, and folks didn't even really know. So I'm going to shorten this up, but I want to say that we got into the neighborhoods and found leaders, and one of them is here today. Patty, would you stand up? I hate to point you out, but this is Patty Sawyer, and that's Sid. I've worked with Sid, but Patty represents Whispering Hills, Spring Hill area. Ben, you can go ahead and say, I mean, she has a cape, I'm telling you. It never ends that I call Patty for some assistance, and she just goes off and does it. So thank you, Patty, very, very much. And thank you to Kathleen Koch and this Leaders Link organization. Later on this fall, we're going to get to visit Tuscaloosa and see where, we're going to be 8 months, 9 months in, where they are 5, 6 years later. So it's just been a really cool thing that happened, and it's saved us a lot of heartache later on. Mayor, anything to add?
No, I agree. This was an opportunity for citizens to really rise up, and we got to see that from the Briarwood, from the Nutwood, Magnolia, from the Whispering Hills area, the Creekwood. I drove around today to see kind of what Creekwood and Whispering Hills look like, and I get a chance every day to go Nutwood, Magnolia, and Briarwood. But I'm telling you, it's drastic. I mean, we're not there yet, and there's individual cases across the board, and we're still learning. We've never been through a community where we hit like that, and we've never been to a community where we're going to finish. But we've said we're going to finish strong. We're going to be BG strong, and that's what we inevitably are and have done in this case. So thank you very much to all the citizens that have come to you, Ben. Thank you for your diligence to work with our citizens. All these items that we're going to be doing here in the next few minutes are results of that. And it was really willingness to work with what people wanted. And I know that it wasn't, exact what everybody, but it was a majority. And that's how this really worked. And if you were to think about had we not done that moratorium, where we paused everything for 6 months, then a lot of rush things could have happened, and people could have gone to the planning and zoning and build multiplex, units next to a single-family dwelling that had been there for 50-plus years, and that would have been very drastic and devastating for that community. And we were able to get ahead of that, and your planning and zoning did lion's share, mountains of work. So thank you. And we're gratitude, and we know that these go in subsequent sequence with each other, because if we disapprove this one, I think the other one's OBE, correct, Katie? On 30.
At least one of them, for sure, would be impacted by that, yeah.
Right.
And for all the neighborhoods out there, in a conversation with Ben a couple weeks ago, he's not done. He may not take on 5 or 6 at a time.
It's really tough, yeah.
But we really,
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. I mean, I know.
We do have about 4 requests already for other neighborhoods who would
Right.
like us to take a look at this. Obviously, the timing of this one was important. We needed to kind of hurry on this one because the amount of damage. The other neighborhoods probably don't need to fear as much.
Right, they don't have a lot of empty
but
lots.
we'll certainly start looking at those. Certainly with the direction of the city commission, we'll definitely start looking at some of those other neighborhoods and fitting them in our
Right.
plan of work.
Hey, Ben, hats off as well. I only have like one question though.
Sure.
Because it looked like that something was stricken for the auxiliary and the accessory apartments. When I look at it, it goes back and it's going towards the development and standards, but it also has the accessory apartments in the district, and it looks like subsection B is vague. Let me ask you this, is it so vague that some developers could come in and go against the will of the community, of the people that live there?
Yeah, so that's touching on the part that was kind of confusing, and that was, once it was finally understood, the desire, I think the overwhelming majority, the desire of the neighbors was to take that out. So that all is out. We did double check that again before I came. So what is left in there, what that's referring to is all of our existing ordinances in place. So anywhere in the city or county for that matter, if you want to have an accessory dwelling unit for a family member, you're able to do that. So we left the part in to where if somebody wanted to build those in this neighborhood, that it would also have to match in character to the existing home. But the controversial part was taken out there. A developer would not be able to build that as a second unit, but a homeowner could build a second unit for a family member, and it would have to be half the size or less of the existing home.
You answered my second question, because I was going to ask you, was it just some type of oversight where that should have been left out or edited out as well? But since you're saying it's going back to the original intent as it is today, yeah, this is something I think that this community needs and is going to help them out in the future, where they'll have a bigger say in what's developed in their neighborhood.
And to echo all the thank yous, I'm so grateful, Ben, that we had you these last 6 months. There are just so many moments where your expertise and your knowledge, and having done this for such a long time, you were able to, instead of saying, well, no, we can't do that, or, well, it's never been done that way, you were able to connect these things that, you know, were brand new. All these situations were unique and nuanced, but you were able to piece together exactly tailored to these neighborhoods what they needed. And to see that, you know, especially in this last meeting where you responded, they said this, now that we fully understand sort of what this section says, we don't want it. You're like, well, here we go. We can do this instead. And I'm just so grateful that we have had you, and I'm grateful for you always willing to just have these hard conversations and really have that cool head and able to come out with those just really practical, simple solutions that will help our communities. And I'm so grateful for your whole staff for helping us get there, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission, and seeing how they just so wholeheartedly took these amendments and just every little piece. They were like, are we sure? Is this what this means? Could this still happen? And just you could see how passionate they were, wanting to make sure that they were taking care of these tornado-impacted neighborhoods. And I just want to echo to just the thanks for the neighborhoods. Just imagining the personal just sacrifices and the things that you were burdened with as just your own recovery, and that you cared enough and you left that little bit you had to make sure your neighborhood as a whole came through this stronger. I'm just so in awe and grateful for the leadership that these neighborhoods took in taking care of each other to get through this. And truly, I mean, just seeing the outcome of it and knowing that this will truly be something that makes planning and zoning fit more, the decisions will be clearer because they have made a statement. This is what we want for our neighborhood. We have all met, we've decided this is clearly what the character of our neighborhood is, and this moving forward is how we want it to be treated. And so it's not just about this moment and how we recover from the tornado. I see this as strengthening these neighborhoods and clarifying for the Planning and Zoning Commission moving forward about what the neighborhoods want. And so I'm just so grateful for how they took this moment of difficult, this tragedy and this hardship and really turning it into making our whole community stronger and our neighborhood stronger. So just thank you to everybody who worked so hard on this.
Thank you. It's very gratifying to work on projects like this when you can build consensus and you have great neighborhood leaders such as Patty and Mary Vitale for Briarwood, and I'm going to forget people. You never start names.
Sheldon,
That's
yep.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Sheldon, Natalie Penarola, and Nutwood Magnolia, and all of the neighbors that showed up and voiced their opinion. It's great to have citizens who care about their neighborhood. It really is, and that shows. And the passion sometimes is there and comes on a little strong, and I do that sometimes myself. But it's for the right reasons, and it makes it does make it easier to get that consensus and be able to move forward. And thank you to you commissioners. I think all of you were there and at one or the meeting or another, and help us find people. And then also neighborhood and community services. Karen Foley's great, helping helping out every time she gets a chance. And since he's not here, I'll say thank you to Brent as well. So.
He's right behind you.
Oh, is he? Oh, darn. Okay, well, that's good. But that's all I have. Be happy to answer any other questions you have.
All right, Ben, thank you.
Thank you again, Patty.
Thank you, Patty.
She's not even in her house. Her house is boarded up, but over there all the time helping out. I know, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-26, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 1.16 acres from AG Agriculture to HI Heavy Industrial, located at 1171 Freeport Road, presently owned by the Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Katie.
Actually, this is a planning commission item, so if
Ben
you have
at
any
the-
questions, Mr. Peterson here is to,
All
Mr.
right, we've got
Peterson is here
Ben
to
on
answer that.
speed dial. Any questions, comments? None? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-27, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance closing a public right-of-way. Ordinance approving the closing of an unimproved right-of-way located between 1132 and 1150 Fairview Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill. Ben, can you just give us what's this right-of-way closure gonna? It's on Fairview Avenue.
Sure. I think what I'll do is I'll let the applicant and our Public Works Director explain it here. Go ahead, Greg.
I'll be glad to. Thank you. Good evening. What this is an old, basically unimproved, it was improved at one point, alley that was platted back, I guess, when the land was first platted. And so it served as access to a dumpster for what is now the Enclave Apartments, as well as an access to the church that I attend, Fairview Memorial Church there on Cemetery Road. And so the fact that it was only being used for those purposes, we got together with the apartment complex next door, and we decided on how we could make both properties better and make it look better on Fairview Avenue. So we basically divided that up. The majority will go to the church as their only access from Cemetery Road. The remaining triangle went to the apartments for, if you've been by there and if you've not noticed, please look next time you go by. A new three-railed white fence is in addition to some arborvitae, I think that's how you say those, big, tall, skinny trees, evergreen trees that go in between there. And so they've removed the dumpster and they've made the area look so much better from the roadway. And again, the church is willing to take over that right-of-way and improve the entrance and make it look better. So this was not being used, and of course, I've got to be careful because I'm the applicant, I'm also the Public Works Director, but it wasn't being used in any kind of a way that the city needed to maintain it. So that's the long and the short of it.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, no further questions, comments. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-27 is our first reading, is non-binding.
28.
It's 28?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land and a portion of the Briarwood Fairview Avenue area from RM2 two-family residential to RS1A single-family
So
residential.
moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Any questions on this one? This is Briarwood Fairview Avenue, RM2, to single family, in line with what we've been talking about. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-29 is first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land and a portion of the Briarwood Wood Hollow Way area from RM3 townhouse multi-family residential to RS1A single-family residential.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Again, this is a multi-town residential going to a single family. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-30, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land in a portion of the Briarwood Manor area from RM3 Townhouse Multifamily Residential to RS1A Single Family Residential.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill. Again, this is in line with the multi-family residential to a single family. No questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-31, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land in a portion of the Briarwood Lovers Lane area from RM3 Townhouse Multifamily Residential and RM4 Multifamily Residential to RS1D Single Family Residential.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Perigin. No questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-32, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land in a portion of 1000 Woodhurst Street in the Briarwood Airport area from RM3 Townhouse Multifamily Residential to P Public.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Can you specify this one just a little bit? Sorry,
That's fine.
this one's a
So-
little bit different.
Yeah, this one was kind of an odd find here as we were kind of scrolling along, close zoomed in on the zoning map. We noticed this little triangle out in the middle of the airport property. Looks like it's an old extension of maybe part of the Briarwood subdivision at some point in time. Airport had covered the property, had bought the property at some point, and so there's just a little bitty triangle that is not public like the rest of the airport, so we just thought it'd be easy to clean that up at this time. And we did speak with the airport before we initiated this.
Sweet, thank you very much. Oh, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-33, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land in a portion of the Covington Street, Wakefield Street area from RM2 two-family residential to RS1A single-family residential.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. No further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-34, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land in a portion of the Whispering Hills area from RM3 Townhouse Multifamily Residential and HB Highway Business to RS1C Single Family Residential.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. No further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG, yeah, well, hey.
You guys can go.
We
Patty,
have
I've been
another
waiting
one
to do
there.
that.
I know that was why you, thank y'all for being here. Not to belittle any of these, they're all important. Ordinance number BG 2022-35, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land in a portion of the Nutwood Street, Magnolia Street area from RS1D Single Family Residential and RM2 two-family residential to RS1D Single Family Residential with an overlay zone.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. No further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-138.
Municipal order authorizing an amendment to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky Capital Improvement Program for fiscal years 2021, 2022 through 2024, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Hill.
I'll take
Katie.
this one, yeah. This actually is similar to a budget amendment. It was one of my objectives this year to take our multi-year CIP, and this current one was approved back in September of 2021, and try to keep it current. So as we go through projects, as projects get bid out, as we determine whether or not an estimated budget is reality, and currently, right now, most of them are not, as projects have really skyrocketed in terms of cost. Anyway, I wanted to bring forth to you amendments periodically throughout the year. So the first amendment was presented back in January, and so this is the second and final amendment. So we've tried to pick up everything that occurred between that last amendment and through the end of this fiscal year. I'm sure that there is something that didn't quite get caught, but we will fix it as we do the next multi-year report, which will be presented probably in September 2022. So again, this particular amendment includes quite a few changes. There's backup documentation in your packet. There's a memorandum that sort of bullet points all the specific changes, and then there's the actual sheets for each of the capital projects that describe what these changes, additions, updates could be. We did have a few additions because of the December tornadoes and some of the expenses we had, which resulted into capital projects, and so you'll see that.
Katie, questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-36, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance relating to budget amendment. Ordinance approving amendment number 4 to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky annual operating budget for fiscal year 2022.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Katie?
This is our last fiscal year 22 budget amendment. We have to get this in before June 30th so that we can at least get first reading done, and our auditors know that we are making some changes. Essentially what this does is present any additional changes that were made to the budget since the last amendment was done. There are several grants, donations, different things that we've approved. Most of these are already actions the board has taken. A couple of the bigger items relate to our estimated budget, the estimated reimbursement that we should receive from FEMA related to the December tornadoes. Again, that is an estimated amount. Also, we had the West Kentucky, if I can get it right, called the SAFE SAFE grant, but it's the West Kentucky State Aid Funding for Emergencies. We received some funding out of it, so it's accepting that funding. ARPA, we received our second tranche, which was around $8 million. So it was accepting that into our budget, and then also appropriating the funds for the premium pay that we just finished, and those payments went into people's bank accounts on Friday last week. So all of that and many other things are included in this budget amendment. It's a rather long one, but we wanted to make sure to pick up as much as we could here in the last fiscal year.
Thank you, Katie. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-36, first reading, non-binding.
Second reading.
Second, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's
I did not
23.
mark that off.
It's okay.
BG 23, second reading, binding.
Ordinance adopting annual city budget. Ordinance adopting the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky annual operating budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023 by estimating revenues and appropriating funds for the operation of city government.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Beasley. This is our second reading. This is our budget for the year, pending our amendments that we're making. No further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes.
May I make one comment?
Yes.
We, this year, presented the budget in a video format to the Board of Commissioners, and I have neglected to thank Raina Johnson-Smith, who is in the back room there with the production of this particular meeting. She is the one that took all of our edits, bloopers, everything, and made the video for you all, and then also for the public. So I wanted to publicly thank her for all of her work. She put many hours into editing that document. Unfortunately, the 5 of us that presented had quite a few bloopers
We see
that
the
she needed
outtakes.
to edit for us, but I did want to publicly thank her.
Thank you, Raina.
Thank you,
That's
Raina.
Maybe we can look at the outtakes sometime.
Gosh, I hope not.
Raina is the master behind the curtains, and she doesn't get much credit, but she deserves many. So thank you, Raina. Ordinance number BG 2022-24, second reading binding.
Ordinance relating to classification pay schedules. Ordinance amending the classification pay schedules: G for general classified, F for fire, P for police, D for department head, management, and U for unclassified part-time employees, and authorizing pay increases for fiscal year 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Bailey. Correct that. Katie.
This, again, is second reading on our classification pay schedule. So our plan is to provide a cost of living adjustment of 7% to all employees. We have some additional changes to our police schedule, but the majority of the employees would receive that 7% plus a step or merit increase for those that are eligible.
Very much. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. All right. We can, Mrs. Jackson, can you check for public comments? All right. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Janet Bowman up to the podium. Janet, thank you for your patience tonight. And Janet, we have a city ordinance. We allow up to 5 minutes. I'll give you a sign at 3.
How many minutes?
Up to 5.
5 minutes, okay.
And I will give you a sign at 3 and let you know when you're nearing 5.
Thank you so much. Hi. I really need to speak with you. My name is Janet Bowman. I've been a Kentucky Certified School Teacher since I was 19 years old. I graduated from Western Kentucky University when I was a teenager, and Western made me a teacher. I live here in Bowling Green now, and I really need to speak with you about this because this has never happened to me ever before in my life, and I'm hurting awful, but I was teaching in a high school here in Bowling Green last month, May 11th. Teenagers in my classroom, and an African-American man who I did not know, I'd never seen before, did not know his name. His name was not on my roster. He did a physical assault on me in my classroom. I was teaching school, I was working. The classroom was full with other teenagers in there. The hit was very hard and very sharp, and I almost passed out. And I turned around and I saw him, and he was just laughing. He was laughing his head off because he saw that he really harmed me, making fun of me, mocking me. It was horrible. And then I was told that his name was not on my roster and that he was not even supposed to be in my classroom. And I told him to leave, to go on to his classroom. And then he started saying terrible, horrible words of profanity, just very hateful, prejudice, F-U-C-K-U, rape you. It's just horrible. No student has ever done that to me before, never. And what was even more shocking is that no teenager in that room would help me. No teenager would tell this student, hey, you're not supposed to hit a teacher. No other teenager told him, hey, you're not supposed to make threats like that to a teacher. No teenager in that classroom would help me. I've never seen anything like this. And I found out later that he was a 18-year-old senior, a football player. And so he's kind of babied and allowed to do anything and everything he wants to do. But I did not know him and have no clue why he wanted to attack me. When that day was over, I went to the Bowling Green Police Department, and I explained to this policeman what had just happened to me. And I asked for a police report. and the policeman would not give me a police report. His words were very degrading towards me.
You're about at 3, so.
Excuse me?
You're about at, you're at 3 minutes, so.
I got
just-
3 minutes left?
No, you're at 3. You have 2
Three?
minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So I tried 3 different times to get a police report, and no police would give me a police report. I thought, my gosh, what kind of corruption is going on here? What kind of perverted, immoral activity is going on here? And they're paying the police off where I can't get a police report. I mean, it was horrible. I went to the Commonwealth attorney, went to the county attorney asking for help, nowhere. So I went to Louisville to the FBI and explained everything to the FBI. I said, please help me, I need to get a police report. This is not normal, this is not right, I don't know what's going on. So I did everything the FBI told me to do. I went to Frankfurt, and I went to the governor's office, explained everything, please help me, I want a police report. I went to the state attorney general's office, explained everything, please help me, I need a police report. So I came back to Bowling Green, and in a day or two, a policeman called me, and I got a police report. It's not, I got it, but it's not totally accurate because the students are liars. The students said the hit was an accident. And I said, no, sir, it was no accident because I'm still receiving medical care. I'm still getting medical treatment because of the physical assault. And it was no accident. They're just liars. They're just a bunch of cowards. I've never seen anything like this, not ever in my life. And those teenagers know the difference between right and wrong, and they decided to do wrong. And may God, Father Almighty, have no mercy on them for the horrible wrongs they've done to me. And I just want you to know that I've never experienced anything so violent, so perverted, so immoral, so dirty, so filthy, as I did in that high school, Bowling Green High School classroom last month. I've never been treated like that ever in my life. And it should not have happened to me, and it should not happen to anyone. And I just want you to know that if I keep quiet about it, it means that I agree with it. And I want you to know I do not agree with it. I do not agree with it. It should not have happened to me, and I don't want it to ever happen to another teacher or another person.
Thank you, Mrs. Bowman. That's
Is that
your
it?
time. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, this concludes our meeting tonight. Our next meeting scheduled is for July 5th, 2022 at 4:30.
I think that was canceled.
I'm sorry. I thank you very much, Carlos. Y'all keep me straight, and I'm glad y'all do. July 19th is our next meeting at 2022. Thank you, everybody. We're adjourned.